Good morning. This is Robert Goodman here on Positive Strokes, Staying Clean. And I'm so happy that you're a part of my recovery. And today we're going to talk about something that recovering addicts deal with on a regular basis. We're going to talk about something that keeps people from identifying with the public that they're an addict. And as I am a recovering addict, I've been called crackhead, dope fiend, the scum of the earth. Uh, I've been told we don't need your kind around me. I've been told, even though I'm in recovery, they told me that I don't want you to work for me. All you're going to do is steal from me and get some dope. Once a dope head, always a dope head. I don't want them living around me. Get those folks away from living around me. It's the stigma of addiction. It's the stigma of people coming out of addiction into recovery. Why do you think they want to keep it a secret? Because people think they're better than a person that's in recovery. They think they're better than a person in addiction. They think that you are the scum of the earth. But in reality, and what science has proved, that addiction is a disease. But people do not recognize that as a disease. There's a lot of people thinking that, oh no, you could just stop. You're just weak. All you want to do is feel good. All you want to do is party. But addiction is something that deals with the mind. That's where the disease is. And then some of the things that people are addicted to messes with the body also, if they don't have it. It's like a person that's addicted to alcohol. If he stops drinking cold turkey, he can get a DDTs, which he can die from. So he has to be medically watched and cared for to come out of that addiction. If it's opiates, they have to be watched so they can come out of their addiction. Then there's some things like cocaine that doesn't physically, but does more damage to you mentally. But people look at it, oh, I want no people working around me. I want no people around me. You, without sin, cast the first stone. Meaning that you just make just as many mistakes as I make mistakes. My mistakes are different than yours. But what makes it better than me? The problem is that since we put the stigma around addiction and the stigma around people that are in recovery, causes people to be very protective of their recovery. Those that share their hopes and their strengths and their struggles in recovery to other people don't care what other people think. Why? Because they suffered so much in addiction. They understand the pain. People think that, well, this world would be better if people wasn't around us. We can do better with them. Get them a whole bunch of dope in the spot and let them die. It takes a village for recovery, just like it takes a village to bring a child up. The child is brought up by the parents, the aunts, the uncles, the cousins, the grandparents, and the immediate friends of the family. because the child picks information from all these sources of people and they incorporate it into their lifestyle. What can we do to change this stigma? Well, a lot of people have changed their behavior on looking at people in addiction and in recovery. There are people that believe that this is a serious situation that affects everyone. When the fentanyl hit and started killing children, all of a sudden, it's not a stigma no more. It's a problem. It's a problem. We could have addressed the problem way back when a whole lot better than we are today. But here we are. It has gotten so bad that the medical situation, insurance, is paying for people into this program. Hold on, folks. Okay. I don't know how that happened, but okay, here we go. Now, as I was saying, we're dealing with so many faces. People want to hide their addiction. People feel ashamed about their addiction. And if we take away the shame and we be honest about the situation, is that addiction is a disease. It deals with the pleasure zone in your brain and also survival mode in your brain. So what it does is changes how you look at things. Addiction tells you that I have to have this drug in order to survive. My body tells that to my brain. When I have the money to go buy me some dope and I'm going to get the dope, I feel so excited. Ooh, I get that rush. The hit feels good. I just can't wait for that first pull. And that's my mind dictating and controlling me to make sure I get more. Addiction. By separating and disassociating ourselves with people in addiction is not solving the problem. It's not helping. I've seen some of the best people in the entire world that are recovering addicts. I've seen recovering addicts go out of their way to help another recovering addict to make sure they make it through the program of recovery. That they understand the pain that another human being is going through, mentally, emotionally, and physically. They don't sit around and point the fingers at, well, you know, you did that. No, they help. Let's make an illustration here. How would you feel if you brought your child to the hospital, to the emergency because it has an issue? And the doctor says, there's nothing we can do about them. They're an addict. They're not going to help you. They're going to destroy your life. They're going to steal from you. They're going to rob from you. Why don't you just let them go so you won't lose nothing? How do you feel a person telling you this about your child? Wouldn't you get defensive? Wouldn't you want to stand up for your child? Of course you would. And you probably would. And you might not, you might hit this doctor. You might show some anger. But people in addiction very rarely have people stand up for them. Only the people that stand up for them is the ones that are in recovery, willing to share their hopes and their dreams with another recovering addict, walking them through the program of recovery, understanding the pain that they have through their addiction, working with them. Those who have jobs that are in recovery help their fellow brothers and sisters get jobs. Most people don't sit down and say, I'm a recovering addict on the application, because 90% of the time they're not going to get hired. Why? Because it's that stigma. You're an addict, you're going to steal from me. You're going to get high, you're going to be off my job, you're going to destroy my business. I can't have you there. But here's the interesting thing. How many people that are not addicts came into the business to steal and destroy the business because all they was concerned about is what they wanted to do? And they're not even addicts. But the stigma of addicts means living on Skid Row and being homeless, being in a fog all the time. I watched a lot of movies on YouTube about recovery, about the disease of addiction and how the drugs are affecting people and how they're destroying their lives. That we're seeing these people at their worst. We as people, we don't mind showing a person at their worst because it makes us feel better, because it makes us, we're doing better than they are. So we stand out. But it's not helping the situation. So the point I'm trying to make is that those on social media that express their recovery, their pain, their beliefs in recovery to others publicly, I take my hats off to them. Because it takes a strong person to go up against people who say, you're crackhead, you're scum of the earth, you're just weak. Because they understand. They've been there. And recovery teaches one powerful lesson that causes people to move forward in recovery is, I can't change what a person thinks or do. That's on them. But what I do have control over is Robert. And I choose to stay clean and sober today. I don't care what people think about me, because my life has gotten better in recovery. And I'm going to stand up for myself in recovery. I don't have no problem sharing that I'm a recovering addict. But when I share it to some people, I watch their face change. Some people take 2 steps back, like I'm going to take their money or their possessions, with a smile on their face. Or those that will look at me with that look and walk away and talk about me behind my back. Why? Because I'm a recovering addict. I understand the stigma. I understand the science of addiction. I understand how people look at us. But here's the thing. A person that comes out of addiction into recovery and stay recovered have an insight on people that a lot of people do not have. They've been in active addiction. They've been used and abused in their addiction because they needed their drugs, so they did what they needed to do to get their drug. But as they came into recovery, they learned about themselves and the pitfalls that addiction caused them. They pay attention to people. They remember. So as their mind gets clear, recovering addicts see a whole lot of things that a lot of other people do not see. We've seen the con and manipulation ahead of time. We see the fake people ahead of time. Why? Because we did whatever means necessary to get our drug, to get that fix. So we manipulated, conned, we did the whole nine to make sure that we wasn't dope sick. So now that we're on the other side of the coin now, we see the fake, we see the used, and we understand. We understand that a lot of people use people as a commodity to ensure their wealth, to ensure their money in their pockets. They use people. Recovering addicts know about that because they was used. And dope was given to them as a receipt to make sure they be used again. So today, the point that I'm driving home, that I'm serious about, is that recovering addicts are just normal people that made a mistake, that has a disease called addiction. People that have cancer, people that sympathize with people that have cancer. They want to help. They have compassion for, but there's very few people have compassion for those who are suffering in addiction until they lose a family member or someone in their family. Then they get to understand because they do research and find out exactly why that person they love is in that position that they are in. They do research and find out information to find out that they have a disease. They find out what the disease is doing to their bodies and their minds. Then they look for steps to help the person that they love so they can take the proper medication so they won't be in active addiction anymore. The sad thing is that I remember when insurance companies said, well, okay, this is a big issue. What we're going to do, we're going to pay for sober livings. And all of a sudden, all these sober livings are popping up because we want to get these people off the streets. They get into a program, we'll pay for the sober living as long as they're doing what they need to be doing. And then what happened was All these sober livings popped up, but they was smoke dens, getting high dens, because the people that made them wasn't concerned about helping people be clean and sober. They was concerned about making money. They didn't care what you did on their property. Until the insurance company found out about that, and they started closing a lot of these places down, taking away their funding. But there are places out there that are helping people establish themselves in being a productive person of society. Recovery teaches you to be a productive person of society. But why is the stigma still there? Why? Usually, what I believe is people have a lack of knowledge and understanding about the situation, that they just draw their own conclusion based on cosmetic facts, just what they see, not by the knowledge or the information, just by a video they may see. Some people don't take the time to do research on it. It ain't me. Why should I do research on it? So, to those on social media that expresses their walk in recovery, I take my hat off to you, because you are a hero to yourself and others. You save lives. It takes a village. It takes a family of recovering addicts to embrace a person in suffering. When I came into the rooms of recovery and I realized the damage that I did to myself, I hated myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't feel I had a reason to live anymore because of the damage I did to myself. But people in recovery loved me until I loved myself. They share their pain, some of them way worse than I. But it gave me hope that I can have what they have. So I started doing what was done by others. I worked on myself. I faced my fears. They held my hand all the way through. All the way through. It reminds me of what started the journey, a nurse, many moons ago. I had overdosed so many times. I think it was like 6 times. Not overdose, but my heart stopped 6 times. I'm sorry. Because I had too much cocaine in my system. They told me I had more cocaine in my system than blood. They didn't understand why I was still alive. My heart stopped 6 times. And when I finally got stable, there was this nurse, had my hand in her hand, leaning over, showing me all her cleavage, telling me, Robert, you don't have to live like this. You choose to live like this, but you don't have to. And between the cleavage and her rubbing my hand, the message got through. And that was the start of my recovery journey. I'm being honest with you. because I was looking like bones. I think I was 90 pounds. I was so malnutrition that I had to eat every 2 hours because the small portions of food. And if I didn't, the hunger pains would be so severe that I couldn't handle them. And the same procedure I did for 30 days. I gained 100 and some pounds. I was walking dead. But this nurse took the time to make me feel comfortable and not ashamed to listen to what she had to say. I felt so ashamed and I felt so bad because I was skin and bones. I was totally ashamed of myself. But she took that away from me by her constant visit and those same words she would say. She would say nothing else but that. And it changed me. It made me want to find out a better way of living. Addiction will always be a big problem in the United States. Why? Because the United States is about pleasure. That you can come here and enjoy life the way you want to enjoy it, to live your life the way you want, to believe what you want to believe, and to do what you wanted to do. That as long as you have the money, you can do what you do. Until you get caught. Until you get caught. So, as in closing, I want to say this. My name is Robert, and I'm a recovering addict. I suffered in addiction for 40 years, and I don't want nobody to suffer like I suffer. I don't want nobody to lose what I lost. That's what I do. What I do is share the message. Why? Because the pain that 40 years worth of addiction has given me, I don't want nobody to feel that. I don't want you to feel the suffering of not seeing your child grow up. I don't want you to feel the suffering of not being there for your parents when they die. I don't want to see you lose your children or your job or a place where you stay. I want you to live your best life. I want you to be happy. I want you to have a life far beyond your dreams. And if you're a recovering addict, you can have that. All you have to do is stay clean one day at a time, face one situation at a time, solve one problem at a time, and things will get better. You did not become an addict in one night. So remember, easy does it. Just face one day at a time. One day adds up to weeks, weeks to months, months to years, and You'll say, wow, I didn't believe I could get this far. I didn't believe I got this far. But all you have to do is keep it simple. It's not difficult because working on yourself is a lifelong process because we're imperfect people, we make mistakes. So we have to dust ourselves up, pick ourselves up, correct the problem, and move forward and learn from our mistakes. And don't let the mistake destroy us, where we be so ashamed that we don't want to change our behavior. A lot of people in active addiction came from relapse. They relapse, they feel so ashamed. They don't want to associate, they don't want to go back to the meetings or the people that they lived their lives, that they were their friends. They feel so ashamed that they stay out there, and a lot of them die before they come back because of shame, guilt. And that should not be the issue. If you fall, run for help, run for cover, protect yourself. It's only a mistake. Learn from it, move forward. It's okay. Because there's nobody, I mean, nobody on this earth that lived their life perfect, that never made a mistake. We all make mistakes off and on because we're imperfect people and we're human. And when people stop looking at themselves better than somebody else, then we'll always have this issue about people looking down on people that have addiction. The stigma. I've seen so many people in recovery that came from homelessness to own their own business, to be productive persons in society, and also helping those in recovery. I've seen people come and work with the recovery system and bring joy and happiness to their souls by helping others that are suffering in active addiction and trying to get recovery. They're special people. My hats are off to you. In closing, I want you to know that if you're suffering in addiction, that you don't have to live like that. You're choosing to live like that, but you don't have to. There's a way out of your addiction. It's called recovery. And you would have to take certain steps so you can get it. It's up to you. We understand. Just because you did what you did doesn't mean that that's the worst thing that's ever been done in a person in recovery. Oh no. You need to come to the rooms of recovery and find out just how crazy and sick we were. But we got recovery. We're living life on life's terms, and our lives are getting better and better and better. So, this is Robert Goodman on Positive Stroke Staying Clean, saying to you that if you have questions about recovery, if you thinking about recovery, subscribe to my channel. It don't cost you no money. I got over 300 videos on Positive Stroke Staying Clean. There's enough information about recovery for you to make a sound decision. The choice is up to you. I'm here because I suffered for 40 years, and I don't want nobody to suffer like I suffered. I can't even tell you half of the stories of suffering that I've experienced in my life because it would hurt me and others. But I'm telling you this, that the reason why I do what I do is because of the pain of addiction. I hope what I shared to you with you today moves you to move forward in your life. You can be your own hero. You can do this. I can't do it for you. Your mother can't do it for you. Your sister can't do it for you. Your wife can't do it for you. Your brother can't do it for you. We can't do it for you. Only you can save yourself from addiction. All you have to do is be willing and come over to the program of recovery. And we will, I guarantee, we will love you until you can love yourself. You have a great and wonderful day.